Yeah, they're not really sun-dried because we kind of don't have the right climate here to do that. But what we do have is our dehydrator. What we're gonna show you here is how we take a basket full of tomatoes, slice them up, put them on their trays. They go right into the dehydrator. We should get some nice dried tomatoes. They have a dried tomato flavor, a really sweet, sort of like powerful tomato flavor.
Like I do not like them. They are too sour.
I know, they're
why.
very, yeah. They still give that powerful tomato burst of flavor, like that really good umami that you get with the dried tomato. All right, so the girls are gonna help me with this. Avery, you can be the first one, right?
I know how to slice.
Very carefully.
I've sliced cabbage
Your right
before.
hand.
This is right.
That's your left.
Oh,
This
right.
is your right. Good, down. Good, okay, sweet. Right, and then we'll set it on the tray. Ooh, that was a thick one. Down the middle. Pull back. Ta-da!
And there is no stick.
Okay, so these two, you can see. Girls, we gotta shoot for the middle of the tomato.
Sorry.
We're a little bit off. We're going for the middle of the tomato. Fingers stay up in the air. And then we pull backwards, let the knife do the cut.
Oh man.
Oh man. Not again.
The tomatoes do not like you.
Oh my goodness.
You
gracious.
cutted them so badly. They don't like you.
Okay, let's try this. Let's try this again. And straight down.
No, trying to find out.
The knife pull through.
Now I've got my first even tomato. Hooray.
Bang.
Oh, you still have some green parts.
That's all right. We'll be a little bit of green's okay. Good, and then pull. Hey! Well. We are just not. This is not working.
That knife does not like us.
Oh yeah, it's the blame the knife. Oh, there we
Blame
go.
the
Yeah, it's the
knife.
knife's fault. Now we just gotta process the rest, load up the trays, and then we'll show you what you do with the dehydrator. Are you gonna help us out here? Yeah, you're yeah, up. Do you want to see what's up here? Woo. It's just tomatoes. You don't like those. Good boy. The girls and Arrow helped us finish having our aromas. It's now time to load up our dehydrator. The food dehydrator goes from 80 all the way up to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. We set it for 140 and we let it run for as long as it needs. We set it downstairs in the basement and close the door because wherever you keep this, it's going to smell up that entire area. In this case, it's kind of cool because it smells the entire area up like a really good tomato. All right, so in here, we've got enough room for 10 trays. But if you load 10 trays into this, it takes much longer for the batch to finish. We'll check on this in like 2-hour intervals. And once they start to get close, they'll start to feel kind of like leathery, almost flexible. And they'll lose so much of their volume. This is how I like it. This is how we're going to do this particular batch. But there's enough space between the racks for the air to circulate freely. I have it set for the right temperature. You just close the lid and turn it on, and it's not set it and forget it because you have to check on it every couple hours or so. Our dehydrator's been running for about 3 hours now. You take a peek inside. After 3 hours, you can see the halves starting to dry out, but there's still a whole lot of moisture on them. This is 8 hours later. So 8 hours later, you can see that the edges have started to curl. But they're not fully dried yet. I'm going to take this spatula and make sure that the edges don't crackle on us. So I'm just going to flatten. Some of these edges are starting to feel too dry. You can like hear it on this one. This one's almost there, so I'm just going to flatten it out a little bit to make sure it dries evenly with the spatula. Push down on it. Push down on the other ones as well. It's been 10.5 hours. See, they're still a little too wet. But this one's just about there.
It smells like tomato soup.
Smells like tomato soup. This was a whole half of a tomato. You remember those big...
I want to feel like a tomato.
This is what they're like.
They're so... like smushy. Look on the other side.
It's like flayed on. I'm gonna squish it.
I want to try it.
Can I try this tomato?
Yeah, let me cut. What does it look like?
It looks like tomatoes that I...
Cut a little piece for you.
Why do we have to cut it?
Because
Uh-huh.
all we're doing here is cutting them down into strips. You can see we've made a whole pile of them so far. right? And they have this leathery consistency, almost like jerky, only it's tomato jerky. We cut them into strips so that you can just sort of add them to a dish that you want to, whether it's pasta, a sandwich, a chili, a soup, whatever you're making. What do you think?
It's good, but it's
good?
really vinegary. Like in the middle, it's really vinegary. I
Very
like
tomatoey?
the outer crust. Tastes more like tomato soup.
All right.
Yay.
We're gonna add them in this jar.
I would like to seal it.
Try to keep it on the cutting board. Try to keep it on the cutting board. Now this is what we got from the 4 trays that we processed, a whole pint jar, but also we have a whole bag over here.
We're adding the olive oil.
We're adding the olive oil, yep. This is gonna go on the side of the oven.
Okay,
So now
it's
this
my
is
turn
going to
seal
be
it.
our, quote, sun-dried tomato, quote, olive oil. All right, do you wanna
I'm
top it
gonna
off?
seal it. Oh god.
Oh, now let me try twisting it.
We have those sun-dried tomatoes in our pint jar that we just made. And when we want to add some oil to the pan, we can also add some awesome dried tomatoes with that really powerful flavor, a good flavor, to oil the pan. And you're getting this really rich tomato smell from the pan. Just gonna add some of the fresh basil from the garden. Now to plate. Just put those 2 eggs right there, just like that. Get a nice garnish on the side. Purple basil. All right, let's taste test this. We got our dried tomatoes, some green basil, a garnish of the purple basil, salt, pepper, and of course the eggs from the girls out in the coop. This is a big bite. Wow. That's really good. Andrew, do you want to try some? Here you go.
Grab it.
Yep.
Wow. Great flavor.
Mm-hmm. The tomatoes have that, like, I don't know, like really vibrant,
Gonna say yeah.
acidic flavor to it, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's a good bite.
Yeah.
That basil, right?
Basil's very good. It's like a garden on an egg, you know what I mean? It kind of tastes like your garden is on the egg. It's just really good. Cleanup crew. Arrow. How was it? Good egg? Yeah.
Get your sillies out.
Yeah, you got it.
Now let's try some. We're gonna be making sun-dried tomatoes. How are we going to do that? With this deep fryer. We're going deep fryer. What? Deep fryer. So we're going to use what's it called again?
This is a dehydrator.
Oh, I thought it was a sun-dried tomato.
I had once upon a time tomatoes. Well, this one tomato did not like hugs. He never even got a hug. He never even wanted a hug. He didn't even say a bit of a hug. No one else knew what he was wrong. They had to be miserable as left of the life. But one day, someone was crying and his ice cream chocolate filling melt. But then he hugged him and gave another sun-dried tomato ice cream. The end, and they all lived happy ever after. Mommy and Sissy, a very young grouchy grandma, lived in this house right here. She forgot which button was turned off. She ran up here and turned it on.
Ugh.
And she opened up the door. She was in there. And she didn't know. She fell asleep.
Oh
And
my
the next
goodness.
morning, she was flat and flaky.